Hello, welcome on back to another Testing Grounds video in regards to the donation pillars, actually. Um, I was thinking about it, giving it some thought, and as much as I like these, there is one slight problem these would give me compared to what I have over here. One thing this does not actually account for is comments given by the person that donated, or anyone on Patreon, etc. If there's ever a comment that they wanted to add to this, there's just not enough room for it, and even if there was enough room for it, like on a sign specifically, in this setup, I would have to shift the signs up or something. And I don't know, it just doesn't really fit well. Like, I could put it on the back of the comment, but that just seems stupid. So that is one downside to this particular setup. Now, this over here, um, I have a few ideas of. Now, I'm going to go with a 6-tier system for the blocks above it, going from coal, redstone, iron, gold, diamond, emerald. What I'm doing beneath is going to really depend on which method I use. This method, I also have the lighting built into it, so I won't have to worry about lighting it up that entire area to prevent mobs from spawning. So the lighting's built into this design, and essentially, I would still have those same two signs, but inside, I would have a book and quill that will have been signed at some point by me, that actually contains the person, the service, what they donated, and maybe their comment and quotes. Sure, why not? That works as a quote. So then I would sign that. Naming it some person, whatever may fit, maybe just a first name and the last initial, something along those lines. So once that's signed, I can actually put that in there in the center. And then if there was ever a comment or any confusion, maybe one of these signs get blown up or accidentally broken off, all of the information is contained within this one book. Likewise, if the person was to donate or have donated, or maybe even has multiple comments over multiple times through different means, this particular setup will allow me to remove this sign completely and keep this one sign with the person's name, and in here I could have multiple written books describing each individual donation individually, um, which would save me on space. Space obviously isn't a concern because I could always go down probably 3 or 4 times in this little mountain edge as we see over there. So space isn't a huge concern, but since we're talking about having comments and whatnot in there, and the sign method not working, it's just going to be an added benefit. The alternative to this is what I have over here. Instead of using a chest, I use a dispenser that's facing upwards. It gives a bit of a texture to the ground. It doesn't look like it's trying to hide any lighting or anything. And that's because it's not. There is no lighting on these. So I would have to find an alternative means to light the building. Um, but essentially, this is the same thing. I made every pillar, though, identical in this particular case instead of what I have over here. And I may end up making it all identical if I went with this setup anyway. I'm still curious to know, and I haven't found a proper design or recommended design by anyone that's really ringing true. There is one thing I do wish to make mention of, by the way. These pillars are meant to be done in survival mode only. If there is a design where it requires creative mode or the give command, not gov, give, for like for example, let's say barrier or something, something that you can't normally get in the game, and the design uses it. I would be okay with doing that in this particular setup, but I would prefer not to. Simply because, again, this is all meant to be done in a survival world. Even though I do have cheats enabled in that world, it was mainly for purposes of preventing issues. Like if I was to Like my single player award was 1.8. At one point during 1.9 snapshots, all of the tripwire hook string disappeared for whatever reason. That's one of those few cases where if I had that happen to me, I would have actually used creative mode to replace the string on things that I knew that broke that I knew I had been working prior. But essentially, that is the only times I would ever be really using that is to fix snapshot issues. And that was the original intention of having cheese enabled on that. Um, there is another downside to using the dispenser method on that is, well, this obviously has 27 slots and this has 9. Now, I suppose I could use a chest here and actually put glowstone underneath. That is an option, and that will cause light. And by the way, wondering why I have this glass, if I do this, take a look at what my block light level is right now. It's 13. Now it's 11. Why is it 11? Well, it's because I'm grabbing light from that one, and then so on and so forth, all the way down the line. Eventually, block light would be down to 0 if I didn't have that there. But yeah, you can see it's a block light of 5 now. That's because that light from that glowstone is still bleeding through just a bit. So that is an option, but I don't know. Not a huge fan of it. Not a huge fan of it at all. Some other thoughts I had were item frames. I'll just do it on this one example. Item frames, and then carpet of some sort on top of, let's see, maybe a chest. So I would have to break the carpet in order to get to it. But what I could do with these item frames is something like that, only I take an anvil and I name, maybe not a sign in particular, but some person for the item, whatever I may have chosen. So we can actually see the name of it when we hover over it, and we don't have all this text on our vision. That is an option, and then I would do the similar thing down below for what they donated. I could maybe just say the item name or something for this, but obviously this removes the service information and whatnot. But all the key information would still be inside that book in the chest that is underneath this carpet. Another good thing about this carpet idea is it allows me to keep the block light high because it allows light to pass through glowstone and whatnot. And it's probably about as hidden as you can get. The only time I can really see this glowstone with this chest under it is if I get this close to it and I'm looking straight down. If I'm back here looking at it like I normally would be, I can't tell that it's there. But this carpet could also be done, not with these signs, obviously, in the way. But I could put them over the dispensers as well, like that's not a problem. So, I mean, there are ways to hide some of these containers, and just some additional thoughts I had on this whole thing. So, essentially, I'm wanting it to go with a container idea now for the books, like I was mentioning. That way, I can combine people's donations into one. Obviously, the signs would be better to some extent, but I don't know. The other option is I just get rid of the signs too and just have something like this or something like this. And then I cover up the container with that, so we don't see anything, we just see the donation pillar itself and then the container with the book in it. That is also an option. I could also just have the person's name on the one sign, leave off the second sign, and then have the book in there. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of different permutations I could do, but I don't know. I'm still trying to consider what exactly I want to do for this, and it's actually becoming harder to decide what I want to do for all of this. Since we've updated to 1.9, I mean, we also have these here, so we could try doing something with these end rods, like maybe we just do like something like that with the name up here, whatever, and and then maybe grab a dispenser and not break both of those blocks and put it down here. Likewise, we could also go down below and put it like so, so it's actually connected that way. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of ways for me to do this. A lot of different means I could really put this together. I don't know, I could do something like that as well if I really wanted to. This would also give off lighting, gives off particle effects, so it would look cool. Cooler than maybe just standard blocks. Who knows? There was one other option I was kind of considering, but once I started trying to do it, it just was not going to work out as well as I thought. And that is with a sticky piston. Essentially, we would have some sort of block here that covers up the chest. So we would have the donation pillar here, and then a lever in the back hiding the chest completely from vision. So we would have whatever information I wanted, and if we wanted to see more, we would have to go behind it and open up the piston. Not the biggest fan of that. Not the biggest fan. I was thinking about doing a bud switch of some sort on this side, trying to work out something that would work, so like when I actually flip this lever, it would actually update properly. But that's also not entirely an option. That is powered right now, okay, so if I was to do... Yeah, if I was to do that, it happens to update the block. So I would have to have something running when this checks to actually pop open the block itself. The reason I would have to do it that way instead of having the piston underneath the pillar is because, well, that means I would have to push out the... so let's say the chest was here. Let's grab a copy of the chest. So let's say the chest was there. I can't do this. There's not enough room for the block to go to. I would have to do that, and then I would have to reach through the piston arm to get to the chest. That is a bit silly, a bit weird to me. Yeah, not a fan. Obviously I could also do it something like this, which is another thought that occurred to me. Lever would have to be somewhere around here or something of the sort. So, I mean, again, we would have to be pulling through the piston arm, and we would have the piston side face, I guess you'd call it, actually showing as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we could do some crazy designs with pistons and whatnot. If I can get the angle right. So, I mean, pistons are interesting. I mean, I've seen people use them as designs before. Like, we would do something like this along the entire way. And then, you know, just open and close whenever we want one of them. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I really don't know what I want to do for this. There's quite a few new things, new blocks and whatnot from the 1.9. Like, there is the... let's see, the grass... Oh, right, player name first, grass path block. I don't know how to really incorporate that, but it is an option. I don't know. It's an option. It's a thought. So many blocks in Minecraft now. Well, there's always been so many blocks in Minecraft, and there's so many different permutations of those blocks you could do to have some sort of a design in this, and it just does not... I just don't know where to go with all of this. And there's so many different ways to set these up. I will have to say, I think I do want it to be 3 high. I don't want it to be as high as a player on the pillar itself. So 2 blocks and 1 block is a no-go. Oh, the other option is I could actually integrate the dispenser, or dropper in this case, with the pillar itself. So, like for example, like that. That way, you know, it's not exactly hidden. I know it's there, and I can actually gain access to it. Likewise, I could, instead of having the dispenser there, I'd have something there, and then maybe the chest on top with the information, making it even slightly taller. But I'm not a huge fan of that either. Yeah. And I think at the moment I'm more geared toward either this design here on the end, two signs on the chest, or more like this, where we have the glowstone underneath the chest, and then carpet on top, and then maybe one item frame only. Maybe one item frame only with the person's name in it, so we can actually see it when we hover over. Alternatively, the sign instead. I think between them, though, I'd probably be more apt for the sign because I wouldn't have to get a level for every single person ever, along with an item to go with it. It would just be a sign, carpet, pillar, the block on top indicating the amount that they've donated overall, not necessarily what they have given the most of. So, like, say someone donates $2 and a skin on CSGO. That could be like redstone level. But then say someone else donates $5 and yeah, this is just $5. Maybe that's iron level or something. And then that same first person then donates like $20 or something. They were at redstone before. They would normally go to iron afterwards, but then because of $20, maybe they go up to gold or diamond or something. So the tier system is going to be cumulative, not on not based on the highest of all donations or subscriptions or whatever. That is my thought process anyway. But I am interested in knowing maybe some design ideas. Maybe you guys liked one of these ideas over any other. The only reason I went with the andesite, by the way, for the floor is just temporarily, just to demonstrate maybe this is the interior of the building. Looks better than grass anyway, in my opinion. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this testing grounds video. If you do have any thoughts, questions, whatever, do put them down below in the comments. We'll answer them as soon as possible. And I do read every single comment I get, by the way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your guys' feedback, and hopefully we can actually get to work on the donation building here soon. Till next time, though, as always, take it easy.